work for us. With Living Podcariously, it was our target was a local demographic. So our sponsors were local. We could have gotten outside sponsors on a national level, like Manscaped sponsors everything.
They sponsored y'all for a while.
Dude,
so I got the Manscaped 4.0.
They sponsored the Twisted 10. So they sponsored one of our shows, and that was because Living Podcariously had a global audience. It
did. I was at a bar in Macon. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on my buddy's podcast. You should check it out. You know, it's the Twisted 10. They're like, I listened to the Twisted 10. I'm just like, what?
Small world.
Yeah.
It's a small world. Yeah, it was. Regardless, so like Living Precariously, we had such a broad audience or a spread out audience, but everything was targeted locally. Our sponsors were a local brewery, Bug Nutty Brewery down there. They were like 10 miles from the studio.
Yeah, y'all did that meet and greet event where they gave y'all like 2 kegs worth of free beer.
Dude, it was awesome. That was the 777 event. That was a ton of fun.
Yes, it was.
We worked with one of our other sponsors, who is it's called the Village Idiot Pub down there, and we had a block party, and it was.
And y'all had Oak and Iron, the photographers,
Oak and Iron photographers,
because they got.
And they were a local. We traded sponsorship spot, and they came out and shot the event.
They did an amazing job. Like they're just
awesome.
Random photos. Like I gave a friend of mine a hug, and I picked him up because, well, I can. And sometimes you need to be picked up and hugged where your little feet jangle and diggle and whatnot. And they got a photo of that. And it is arguably one of the best photos ever.
That's funny, man. I haven't thought about that event in
little
years.
Stantlers.
Yeah, man. He's up this way now. Do you know that? He lives like near Savannah. Yeah, hit him up.
Oh, we're gonna have words.
Yeah,
nah,
hit him up.
that is 2 hours away. The fuck.
And he's west of Savannah too, so he's actually closer than that. But so Living Podcariously, I can do this. I can get through this. Because we kept our focus local. We had local sponsors, and we worked with local businesses, and all of that was kept very local. So we actually probably gave up money by not taking on national sponsors for our show that was like really hardcore to be like hyper local. The topic was we were just talking about our lives. It was just like a radio show, but everything we talked about, when we talked about going to businesses and events is just as individuals, it was all... So anyways, it worked really well. The Twisted 10, while we certainly did talk about, our lives and what was going on, that was never meant as a local show, and that's when we took on like a national... Like when we did work with Manscaped and stuff, that's when we went up to like just ad networks that would get stuff for us. We ended up landing on Spreaker, which did all of the work for us, which was wonderful. But so that was how we chose what to advertise. But then in our show, the best medium that we found is like, because of the format of the 10, it was really easy to do an opener and then an intro, right? Just like you guys. Do a quick opener, quick intro, and then we would talk for a few minutes about the topic at large, and then we would go and do 10 through 6, and then we would take a break, and we would tell people
shot.
Yeah,
Everybody!
A lot of mid-show shots.
Oh, yeah.
You got the second half to cool down.
Oh, whatever. 5 through 1 is the most difficult.
But we conditioned our audience, our listeners, to know. It's like watching TVs, right? The whole thing, like, we know in the middle of the show there's going to be a commercial break. Even if we're streaming our cartoons, we still, like, even when the show fades to black and fades back in, we still, because we know that ads go there, right? And so by sticking to that format for just the entirety of the show, even when we had no ads, we would just tell people, all right, cool, we'll take a break in studio, we'll be hanging out on Discord for 10 minutes, and then
something else I loved what you did is you not only incorporated local businesses and this and that, you incorporated local bands. You would always play a song from a local band. Hot Pink, amazing.
Yep, they're back together.
They need to come up here. Like, I will book it. Let's go.
Adam can get you in touch with James. I don't talk to those guys anymore. James or Bill.
Okay.
Singer, bassist. Jake Salter helped write the intro, mid-break, mid-return, and outro for the later part of the Twisted 10. And he's the lead.
The funk?
Truphonic, yeah.
Okay, because that was...
Yeah, he wrote all that for us, yeah. We hired him for that.
I don't care if y'all listen to the show. Listen to the intro. Like, that is funk. Like, that is white people's jazz. It is great.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think this is probably a good point, or a good time to also, you talk about working with local people and local businesses and whatnot. I think as any business, right, when you start talking about, like, how you're going to monetize, who you're going to work with, you should always try to do things that will, like, raise other people up. We worked with Oak and Iron, and we pitched the fuck out of them for, like, months on the show. We told them, like, oh yeah, you can have a month. We'll do an ad spot every week. That's 4 episodes. We were going to talk about them for 2 minutes, but they knocked it out of the park, and we talked about them forever, and we got them hopefully a way bigger return on their few hours of time that they gave us. And those are the things. Those are the opportunities that you have to look for. Those are the people that you want to advertise for. Because back to my first point is being genuine. When we talk about Oak and Iron, we talk about them and we've hired them. They're not just like, yeah, Walmart.com, they're the best, $35 a year or whatever. Like, they're like, no, like they asked their names not to be on shows anymore. But so, like, whenever we would talk about Oak and Iron, they were friends. We had worked with them and it was personal. And even then, when we started getting into national sponsors, they want us to talk about, like, products. Like, okay, send them, give us one, and we'll use them. We'll talk about it. So,
and, like, they were good products. Like, I still have my Manscaped. Like, it awesome. Is amazing, and it's like, I think I said this in episode 2 with Tucker. You know, people collaborate at the top; they compete at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a cool statement. I'm gonna write that one down. Well, I have a whole OneNote full of cool quotes. Don't judge me.
As far as OneNotes go, that is the least worrying we have. And I have you to blame for that. You're the only reason I know that.
Man.
So on podcast and working with like multiple people at the same time, did y'all have like a problem with like talking over one another, or did y'all just kind of have a rhythm, or did that just develop over time?
All right. I'm gonna pull a curtain back real quick because I think this is important. We talked over each other all the time, and we did this, and we
especially after the break.
Yeah, after the break, it was real bad. We did this, but while also, again, getting feedback from our community that was really responsive and honest. That was great. That they loved it, because it really, like, if you're sitting around with your friends bullshitting in the living room, you're going to do that. And me and the other hosts, we're all personal friends, so it really was just like a bunch of friends just trying to get crack jokes and whatever.
Yeah, like Azalea, our best show that we've had was Tucker's Roast.
Yeah.
Because we're all friends, because we know it's all in fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very out, like, we talked about it as a cast, not on the show, we talked about it on the cast. It just fucking destroyed me. I hated it. I absolutely hated that we talked over each other all the time, but our listeners loved it.
Josh used to get accused of giving dad eyes.
Dude.
And, like, the doom look, I've been friends with him. I have literally put him in a road barrel, set him on fire, and drop kicked him off a ledge.
It's a true story.
It wasn't that far. It was like 20 feet. We were less than 20. We would have survived.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten dead eyes. Like, I've been at both of his weddings. I played guitar at his sister's wedding. Like, me and him went on a divorce cruise.
True story.
I've gotten the sex talk from his mom and dad.
Separate occasions. By
Worth it.
years.
Worth
by
it.
years separated. Like 10. So you don't fuck crazy, man.
You don't fuck crazy. That's why you're happily married and well adjusted and living your best life. I gotta get material, man. Crazy women, if y'all want to hit me up, comedymannerspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, you had also...
Good luck sorting those, Azalea.
Oh my god.
Send them to me. I want a scale of 1 to 10.
That'll be a Patreon episode.
Yes. Children's cancer, like, pay to go out with Tall Trey. I will treat you like a complete princess and then run like hell.
I've seen him do that with the older sister of a Make-A-Wish child.
Oh, yeah, what happened with the younger sister, Josh?
Come on, man. Come on, man. She was 17. She lied to me. We found out she was 17. I was like, fuck off, I'm out. And then
again, nothing happened. Josh never kissed her. We were hanging out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to.
And then me and the
more.
older sister and two other girls were hanging out in our room because we were sharing a room because, well, Josh bought it for him and his wife, and, well, that didn't happen.
Oh, that's right. I was 20 at the time, too. Right, so, like...
Way less creepy. Not
less
Dane
creepy.
Cook, okay?
I was 20. She told me she was 18. Found out she wasn't, and that was it.
He lectured the fuck out of her. Oh, my God. He went full dad mode. He went Red Foreman without swearing.
It was an interesting time.
Yeah. Then, like, a couple nights later, because there's, more fish and trash in the sea. We're in there, 3 ladies. We got some rum, playing guitar, having a good time. And who walks in?
Oh, it was my mom.
Yeah. I don't care how cool you are.
You never recovered from that.
Nope.
You never recovered from that. She was asking. I was like,
she needed. Yeah, she's like, oh, do y'all?
Your suit. She knew immediately what she had done. I still hear about it to this day. She still brings that story up.
She has never mentioned it to me once.
It's different. It's different, I guess. You had... There are a few things, too. I'll bring some other things that you had mentioned in the conversation. We had talked about monetization. So we had talked about monetization, and I had told you I'd give the take of another podcast. The advice that he gave us, he was working with...
When you say he, who is he? Or are you at liberty to say?
I am not, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he was... because he ended up... It was advice that he was giving us to try and get on his label for... what streaming service was it?
Okay, I want all of you to go back, listen to every episode of the Living Podcariously and the Twisted 10, and leave your guess as to who it is.
Yeah, he did a horror podcast. He probably wouldn't care if I said too. And I'm just like, now I'm drawing a blank on the name of the show. I don't want to use his real name. That's what he really doesn't want used. Anyways, so he...
is this Time Suck?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it was... so his advice was host on a platform that injects ads and take all of their recommendations, because their recommendations, like Spreaker is where we landed. I can't recommend them enough. They're amazing for hosting any podcast content. I imagine it would translate well to a comedy podcast, because you can either tell it to put commercials in silent spots, and it'll just take dead spots in the waveform, and it'll just put ads in there. It's bittersweet. It does a really intrusive job, but it puts what is, by their massive amounts of information, the most lucrative amount of ads based on your listeners and where your high points and low points are and stuff, whatever. Then have just your paid content ad-free. He said that's it. Start there. If you're going to monetize, start there. Just get a platform that'll do your ads for you, inject them wherever. Like I said, what worked for us is we had a spot for them, so you manually would put in ads. We put 2 mid-rolls, 4 post-rolls, because you get the least amount of money, and we told people, like...
Most of them were the same commercial.
Yeah, but it wasn't up to us. It was up to the platform. And then our paid show